Yep, looks like we're good. Cool. So double check Streamlabs this thing, swear to God. Hey, Suka. Wait. Zooks. Don't be a goofball. I already know what you're thinking. Nope. Nope. Don't be wandering off. Don't need to chase you. There we go. I guess I'll dump the last little bit of here. There. Okay. Put that away. Zukov! Hey, Zukov! Come on! Hey, Zukov! 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 Hey! Zooks! Oh my fucking god. Hey! Zukov! Come on! Let's go! Come on, pup! Come on! I'll leave you outside. Oh my god, he's taking sweet ass time. Come on. God, lazy boy. Mom's an energy car? Shit, what happened? What's up with that? Trying to say take care of you since it's just up the road. Well, that's good at least. But still, shit. sides were hurting, or her side was hurting, and painkillers did nothing to dampen it. Shit. That's not good. There we go. Let's give it a little moment to get totally settled down here. Turn this bitch up. There we go. Fucking hot, dude. I hate this. I hate the fucking heat, bro. Later this fucking week, it's gonna be goddamn triple digit shit. Got these septic saying, well, that sucks. Fucking hell, dude. I know what will help, actually. Cold water all over the head. That helped last time. I remember doing this a bunch. Give me that cool water. Woo! Oh, that felt so good. Ooh. Oh, that felt good. There we go. That's much better. Oh, that was way fucking better. Just basically just ran on the sides of my head. And oh, that helped a shitload. I just took a majority of my fucking heat out just doing that. Oh, that felt good. Oh, like 8,000 times better just doing that. And I think that just kind of proves how much I fucking hate the heat because, yeah, I don't do well in it. And as soon as I cool down super quickly like that, I immediately feel so much better. Just immediate. But I already had to kind of heat myself up a little bit going outside to grab a coffee. So I come back and do this. And I feel immensely irritable the entire time. Just gotta tie this up. Fly, are you doubt retarded? You're in the hat. Like an idiot. Get fucked. That was probably the easiest fly kill. And luckily ain't no fucked up in there, so that's good. Also, she feels like ice picking herself when watching Fox. I feel the same half the time. I mean, that kind of, I think, is a test, to show if you're actually a human being or not. And she has passed the test, so. I would say that's a good thing. I would say that's good. Here. Oh no, she also says CNN is fair and balanced. Well, they're not, but I'm at least able to maybe, give that a pass. Not in a sense of, oh, that's just totally fine, yes. But in the sense of, well, at least they're not listening to Fox. So, I mean, there's at least that. Or OAN or any other right-wing rags. at least like CNN will like invite people sometimes that aren't like utter total like business corporate shitbags. So depending on who's like one of their guests that they're talking to, you know, and shit, or who they invite to like talk about an issue or something like that. I mean, you know, it's like you might at least get like a curveball of somebody who's willing to kind of like speak more truth to power, but I mean, they're more of a rarity. Like you don't usually see those type of people on there that often. But, you know, it's every now and then you'll find one. Your liberal corporate rag to right-to-right rags. Yeah, well, yeah, it's pretty much just CNN in a nutshell. Like, I mean, you ain't gonna find me disagreeing with it. I mean, at least it's, like, listenable, in a sense that at least I don't feel like literally ripping my fucking brain out of my ears, you know, when I fucking listen to it, like, for 3 seconds, so... I mean, that's why at least, you know, I said earlier, I'm willing to at least grant the pass. The MTG episode 60 Minutes felt like they didn't push back on her enough. Not only did they not push back on her, like, at all, they basically just normalized a lot of her fucking talking points and just let him, you know, be bolstered. Like, 60 Minutes, like, outright, you know, fucking normalized fascism with her. They normalized a fucking white supremacist neo-Nazi. So, at this point, fuck 60 Minutes. Like, whatever credibility they had is gone ever since then. By saying they were being respectful. Like, that fucking whore of a fucking, you know, piece of shit, right-wing rag bag fucking cunt, you know, deserves any respect. Oh, yeah, Marjorie, you know, one of the fucking traitors of this country, Green. Oh, yeah, like, you know, let's give her some respect. She's luckily she didn't get fucking slapped in the face on public TV, honestly. She should have been. That would have been fucking good. How's that for respect? She's like one of the few women I honestly would be okay with just utterly just smacking the shit out of, dude. Marjorie Taylor Greene deserves that. Like, she is an utter fucking cretin of a human being. What are you trying to spell? Speech. Oh. Mom still believes in the liberals and free speech. Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with believing in free speech, but that doesn't mean that you just give Nazis fucking platforms, you know, to espouse literal fucking, like, lies and just overtly. I mean, that's the thing. Like, just because, you know, like there's a right to free speech doesn't mean you can tell lies as fact and just overtly, you know, state it as nothing but the objective and try to instill that on reality on everybody else. That's not free speech. She thinks she will beat them in the marketplace of ideas. No. You wanna know how you do that is by taking a baseball bat and crushing their fucking ideas into smithereens. Because, I mean, like, there's no real way that you're just going to be able to solve that in the marketplace of ideas. Because these Nazis and fascists don't, you know, care to entertain that. They don't care about the marketplace ideas. They want to be normalized in that market just enough so they could, you know, so they could literally nuke the whole thing. They want to be in the marketplace of ideas, you know, just so they can literally bomb it all. You know, like, that's basically the reason why. So, you know, to give him any fucking, you know, wiggle room in that, you know, would be detrimental to free speech and to, you know, the whole concept of a marketplace of ideas. It's detrimental to the whole concept. And I don't even necessarily think it's a good one anyway. The marketplace of ideas, I think it's stupid. Like, I don't even necessarily like the concept, but, I mean, I'm willing to at least entertain it a little bit. At least for this argument. Liberalism classes in law school. Yeah, and there's like political philosophy classes in college when I was in college for a little bit. I never took those classes specifically, but I took a few political classes at least. I mean, if I kept going with college, I probably would have, but undergraduate in political theory. Well, I guess that's where her and I probably would have been similar minded. Because if I kept going to college and university, I most likely would have, you know, kept venturing on with that. But still, I mean, you know, it's like, just because, you know, you learn and, you know, get conditioned to understand these ideas doesn't necessarily mean they're good. Or, you know, or at least, you know, like useful anymore. Because guess what? It's like times are different. You know, sometimes what was considered a very valuable concrete idea, like 40 years ago. Well, guess what? That ain't the case anymore. Things certainly are way different. So it's like you have to adapt, that philosophy and that, in those ideas, into the more modern concept. And, part of the modern concept is that, like, these right-wing fascists and Nazi types and shit, it's not like 20 or 30 years ago where, you might see a few of them every now and then flinging out swastika or some shit, being an idiot. But basically, for the most part, being just cordoned off as an outcast of society, basically. And yet, like, when it comes to, now... I mean, now there's just full-on fucking rallies. There's, like, them going to straight-up, drag events and shit. They're out there supporting politicians like DeSantis and overtly doing political rallies for them and shit. Like, I mean, they're pretty much all back and ready to go, baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's... So, I mean, it's a different paradigm. And when you have a totally different set paradigm going on, you need to adapt to that. I mean, and the whole idea of free marketplace of ideas and all that shit, that dog don't hunt in here no more. That dog don't hunt in this forest. Like, maybe in its prime it used to, but it's too old to be hunting this forest no more. You put that, retire it to the pastures. Let it run around and be a little freak dog not giving a shit. It's like, quit making it hunt, because they don't hunt no more. But yet they still want to try to push it as like, as a way that it will win above all else. And it's like, no, it won't. Gotta get one of the, more young alpha dogs, out there to fucking handle it. I mean, shit, because, maybe their spunk and, their understanding of the times in the force, so to speak, are probably a little more knowledgeable than the old dog that, can't really keep up anymore. Should I spell Clinton Obama feels like didn't do enough? Duh. I feel like Dark Nation from law school holds her back. Man, like, does she not know the does she not see the pattern? Oh, I wish they did more. Oh, I like them, but I wish they would fucking, do more of them. And I wish they would do more, and this and that. Yeah, maybe that's the problem. Maybe it's because we've been conditioned to think that subpar and barely getting anything done is good enough, and, it's just that we wish we could go, get it done a little better. It's like, no. Like, quit settling for that. It's like, It's like, shit like that doesn't annoy me, because, like, when people keep going through a fucking pattern like that, and not see, like, hey, maybe breaking out of that fucking cycle, is probably, a way to maybe slowly but surely shift that. Obviously, it doesn't start with one person, but fuck. Just support them enough to get things done. Bullshit. Especially for Obama. I was alive and remember that fucking presidency well fucking clear. And bullshit. Like, Obama had plenty of support. Obama had a supermajority. Like, that's just utterly bullshit. That's just, like, I don't know who told her that, but that's just a fucking lie. Obama had, like, the political voter base. Like, he had the support there. He had the backing of the people. He had the backing of a supermajority for his first term. That, like, especially for Obama, that motherfucker had support. And he stabbed everybody in the back. Fuck that shit. That is bullshit. Bullshit. Clinton, honestly, he's the same thing, because Obama just copied what he did. It's called the triangulation effect. Oh, I'm not one of these radical hippy dippies. I'm above the fray. Alright. It's that fucking mentality. I mean, Obama captivated it fucking perfectly. Enough to fucking, dupe a lot of fucking libs and progressives. She believes that you will participate in the problem by voting green. It's quite the opposite. Yeah, she really been conditioned by it, huh? Fucking hell. Man, like, because that's the opposite. I mean, honestly, like, the idea that, like, any motherfucker voting any third party is actually somehow detrimental. No, it ain't. Like, go look at these other fucking, most recent elections. Like, if you literally took every third party vote, like, from Green and Libertarian, like, and for some reason, if every Green or Libertarian voted for either Biden or Trump, or Hillary or Trump, from 2016, it literally would mean fuck all. It would not mean anything. It would be insignificant. It would change the popular vote a little bit, but that doesn't mean anything. It's the electoral vote that matters. And guess what? Those votes wouldn't mean shit. It wouldn't have changed anything very significantly whatsoever, outside of just, changing, a couple thousand votes here and there in states. That's it. And it's always been like that, very fucking consistently, outside of Ross Perot, basically. Like, there hasn't really been, like, any big third-party type of candidate, like, really, at least from what I remember, since Ross Perot. And he wasn't even, like, and that was before I was alive. So we haven't had this, fucking third-party spoiler, like, for over 20 years. Probably goddamn almost 30. So it's like, fuck. It's like, it's like, are we really gonna, it's like that argument really irks me. In fact, that even, like, younger lefty types, will even make it. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, you could literally just look at, like, the, like, results, from the totality, and it wouldn't make a difference. Because guess what? Popular vote doesn't mean anything. Like, it's, the electoral college is what fucking matters. And, like, that, so, like, when it comes to that, that basically means you have to win just enough votes to basically just win the state, and that's it. Maybe I'm putting words in her mouth a bit. I'm not saying that she is dumb or anything either. I just, think that this, like, the whole idea in itself and the whole, like, strategy is dumb, and I think people that, believe it are just duped into it, or just conditioned into it, or just kind of in denial because they've genuinely have been taught that this is, like, the process and how to try to change things, and, like, basically the whole activism praxis part was already fought because of civil rights and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's, so I think there's a lot of reasons why, people have, these, positions, but, like, either way, I mean, it doesn't make the take any better, honestly, in my opinion. I mean, it just makes it, like, more of a validation that it's, like, been, manipulated as an, idea that's meant to be good. To the promise of the liberal world. Yeah. And I'm sure that's a strong contingency to it, too. I mean, because she grew up during, like, the Cold War era, too. Like, and, and at the end of that, during the 90s especially, like, and, and now, when, after all that, and it's like, well, what now, kind of thing, it's like we don't really have a big bad anymore, we don't really got, like, all this shit, so, it's kind of like, we're in good times, the liberal, utopian world that, we've all dreamed about, freedom, democracy, it's probably around the corner, like, it was, like, kind of genuinely, a thought that was, like, kind of permeating there for a bit, and then, after a lot of various different, events, especially, being the fulcrum 9/11, that, well, it changed everything. But I'd argue that all that shit was just, generations in the making. Well, not generations, but at least, like, decades in the making. Because of Reagan, HW, and then W himself. People like fucking, with fucking, what are all, like, Rumsfeld, fucking Cheney, like, I mean, all these people run in the same circles and have literally been, in the same, like, in groups, in the system even prior to Reagan, and they've all been, like, organizing and cultivating this whole fucking system and shit, and like I said, I'd argue that, and a lot of reason why is because, like, they're all acolytes of a neoconservative that cultivated a lot of this neocon philosophy, Leo Strauss. And he's the one who really, like, cultivated a lot of this, because a lot of people like Cheney, Rumsfeld, etc., like, they're acolytes of him. Like, they were taught by him and shit. And, like, pretty much are, essentially, like, the equivalent of the apostles spreading the word, essentially. I mean, a lot of it really does kind of root down to Leo Strauss, realistically. I mean, he's also kind of... Oh, like Kissinger's another one. There's an acolyte of him. Because Leo Strauss is actually the one who kind of helped cultivate the idea that America doesn't have friends, it has interests. And Kissinger was infamously known saying that. Where did he learn that from? Leo Strauss. So it's just like, I mean, he's like, you know, Strauss is genuinely like fucking like major like philosophical like, you know, foundation of a lot of neo-far-right conservatism in America. And even I don't even think he probably could have predicted like the rise of fascism like it was. I'm sure he was kind of thinking it would be more like the W Federalist Society route, which they're certainly being very successful too. But I don't think he probably could have predicted this side of things. But the thing is, though, that neoconservatism enables and heightens the likelihood and normalization of that shit anyway. So whether he, you know, predicted or not, well, he's a fucking, you know, at least in some part, a reason why we're in this situation. Nice sci-fi and visual world of the human actually functions somehow, where world of humans actually work together. Yeah, because in the 90s, like, I mean, we're talking about this, what, like, yesterday morning, or one of the other mornings? Like, we were talking about this, or, you know, like, one of my streams not too long ago, like, yeah, during the 90s, like, there was kind of this sense of, like, hey, maybe we can actually get the world to start working together a little bit. Maybe we can actually, you know, have a sense of collaboration and cooperation. Like, there, I mean, I think even, I think even, you know, prior to the Soviet collapse, like, I think even Gorbachev was trying to see if he can basically, you know, stabilize the Soviet economy by trying to legit be more open and normalize relations with the West and shit. But, you know, the Soviet economy and the, you know, Soviet system basically at that point just, you know, collapsed under its own weight. And, you know, before that really could kind of take hold. And, you know, but it did kind of help at least partially establish at least attempts, you know, like afterwards. But, I mean, that didn't really work out either because, I mean, we kind of know how fucking history played out with that. Kind of led us to have Evil Bald Man. Evil Bald Mustache Man 2.0. He doesn't really have a mustache, so I could just only really think of Evil Bald Man. Because you can't really say Evil Mustache Man, so that doesn't really work. Hey, Putin, grow a mustache and make it look like Hitler's mustache so we could call you Evil Mustache Man 2.0. Evil Mustache Man 2, let your boogaloo, dude. Come on, grow it. Oh, wait, he might have cancer. That's probably why he can't grow anything. Because I hear he might have leukemia or some shit. Though, to be fair, I don't even know if that's actually true. I know his health ain't good. I mean, you could just tell by looking at him, but, I mean, like, I've heard murmurs about him maybe potentially having, like, a terminal cancer or something. Which, if that's the case, can it hurry up? Command & Conquer GDI was originally a collaboration between Russia and USA. Now, after the first game becomes world government. Why does that dog love the laundry room so much? Original Deus Ex 2000 was revolutionary first time. I need to get back into playing that, honestly. It's been a fat minute. Though, to be fair, I know one thing that I was complaining about that game when I was playing it was how fucking dark it is. Like, you can barely see anything. Even if I max up my brightness on everything. It's like, god damn it, it's like too fucking dark. Sorry to gameplay now. It's not even really hard to play, it's just, like, difficult to see shit. I mean, like, half the time I'm like, is there something here? And I'll, like, vaguely see something what looks like there's a thing, and then I'll click interact, and I'll be like, oh, I guess it was an item I picked up. Okay, I'm like, I guess there was something there. And then I'm just like, I guess I'm walking blind. It's like, man, motherfucker. They have mods to fix that. Oh, they do? Oh, thank goodness. Alright, well, I'll look into those next time I open it up. In Memoriam, Johnny Hardwick. No. Rusty Shackelford passed away? No. The guy who voiced fucking Dale Gribble, Johnny Hardwick, he did. No. No. He did not fucking pass. No, what? Bruh. 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 Why are we, like, losing all the good ones, dude? What the fuck? And then you got, like, evil Mitch Turtle fuck that still is alive. The aliens finally got Dale. Dude, those fucking aliens got Rusty, bro. Dude, Shackelford got abducted by them aliens, man. Finally got him. Damn. Wow. Fuck. Like, man. That's shitty. Well, like, what the fuck? Why do we keep losing the good ones, dude? It had to be fucking Rusty Shackelford. God damn it. His last words were, fuck government. Fuck government. It didn't immediately froze Pakistan out. It's like, fuck you, government. Pakistan. That's his last attempt to, defend himself before he goes out to the great beyond. Damn. That's just like I'm truly having a moment of sadness right now. I'm just like, damn. That's some sad news right there. Man, that sucks. Is there at least something to, at least lighten the mood with now? Come on, there's gotta be something on here. Oh, you know what? I can just go on the Reddit. There's always at least something on the Reddit. There's always at least something fun going on there. I bet first thing it's gonna be a Portland subreddit thing, and it better be like some controversial, weird, meme thing or something. It's not even loading anything yet. Oh. We have some trouble getting to Reddit. Apparently it didn't even... Oh, there we go. There we go. Of course, yeah. What do you know? It's always the first fucking thing, dude. It's always a Portland subreddit post. It's always the first thing, and of course, it's something weird. Man dubbed Tryman Barber indicted for allegedly filming women in Portland area restrooms. Which this guy is still out and around. Are you fucking kidding me? Let's just dub him a sexual predator. No shit. And why the fuck is he just allowed to be free after, like, literally endless accounts of him, like, sexually assaulting people? Like, I mean, like, that dude is a freak. Like, that dude straight needs to be locked up, dude. Like, legitimately. Like, there's some insane, weird fucking shit about his past, like, crimes that, like, I don't know why he's just like, oh yeah, we can just walk around out and about willy-nilly, it's fine. It's like, no, you should probably be jailed. Like, Man, I said I want something to, like, make my fucking mood better, not fucking, like, have a... Thank Reddit. Thank you. Thank Reddit. Wow. Gee. Hey, testing. Hey, it's working again. learned about Skibidi Toilet from Vosh, Paul, and my 7-year-old all in the same 2 weeks. The other day, Paul mentioned the channel and it says some cool engineer or something like that. I was like, Paul's good taste. I might check that out. Then I heard Vosh talk about it. I mean, go off on a leftist manifesto on why it's, quote, pretty cool. Like, I got home today and my child's watching it. Not sure how I feel about this one. I was like, hey, bud, what's that? He exclaimed, Skibidi Toilet. And it was kind of trippy to hear him talk about something I heard 2 major news and politics channels. Whoa. Dude, what? Like, I mean, like, dude, what is this fucking, like, Skibidi Toilet shit, bro? I still haven't seen any of this. Do I even dare? I don't, like, because I feel like if I start, I'm not going to be able to get out of it. I'm going to be in, like, some weird, like, brainwashing, like, hypnotic fucking thing or something. Like, is there something about it? Is there something about this that I should be worried? Heard of Huggy Wuggy? No, and nor do I want to. I don't know if I want to. And it doesn't matter, you're going to be telling me anyway, are you? Oh my god, I'm getting so many recommendations about, like, compilations and things about Johnny Hardaway. Oh my god, dude. YouTube, stop rubbing it in. Ah, fucking hell. Wait, that's it? Well, I definitely want to take a shotgun to this. I mean, I will say that much. I definitely want to take a shotgun to that, so, I mean... Though it wasn't exactly very, like, I mean, it was more like, oh shit. But, I mean, you know, It's like, oh, okay. You just take 2 shots of 12 gauge right to it. It's a creepypasta thing. Well, yeah, I kind of figured. To be honest, figured that was probably, what was going on with that one. I mean, if it wasn't that, it had to be, like, like some weird fucking, like, horror story of some sort. Which I guess creepypastas are just horror stories. It's just a type of genre of it. I really do wonder about my fucking dog sometimes. Because he acts so much like a fucking cat. Are you a victim of wage theft? Yeah. Yes, I am indeed. I've been a victim of stuff like that. But pretty much anyone who's, like, worked a job has probably been a victim of that one way or another. I actually know what video you're pulling. Because, I was actually, listening to this on my way to grab my coffee and stuff. So I was listening to it. I didn't actually, like, watch it specifically, but I was listening. So maybe we'll look at it later, but, fuck it. Let's look at it now.
Nights on the road, delivering pizzas in Chicago.
Me encanta hacer delivery porque la gente está contenta cuando llega su comida.
But on some nights, he says, the longer he works, the less he makes. $4 per delivery.
De casi una hora solamente he hecho 2
Of
deliveries,
course, if I only make 2 deliveries,
que son
it's $8.
$8. Entonces, si ustedes se dan cuenta, tal vez a lo mejor no estáis ganando ni el mínimo, tal vez.
The pizzeria owner claims drivers are independent contractors, paid by the delivery, not the hour. But
I hear this a lot. Because my friend does pizza delivery. Well, he's been going off and on dealing with shit like this. And, yeah, it's not exactly unusual for this to be the case. Like, at all. Like, they'll, basically, skirt certain, things and shit, to basically underpay and undermine, the fucking work that, drivers are doing. That should be illegal. Yeah. And whoever owns this fucking, business should be arrested.
says
by the hour, not all. Yeah. I mean, at least when it comes to work like this, yeah. I mean, I get salary work because there's, jobs that are more, pertain, to making a salary, which, that's fine. But, I mean, at least has to be, tied into at least some sort of an hourly rate, though. Like, I'd argue. Like, I mean, so either way, it'd still basically technically be by the hour, because it'd still be, how much how much you're working for a given day or a given week, when it comes to the hours and shit. Sorry, when applicable, yeah. yeah, I feel like, it should be, when applicable, at least when it comes to, white collar jobs stuff. Like, I can get where it might be the case. Or, even, if you're working in, a lumber mill or something like that, I can see where it could be certainly applicable. But, at least especially when it comes to just any typical type of job, whether it's delivery service, retail, warehousing and shit, it should be the standard, to have it by the hour. I mean, when it comes to getting paid and stuff, I mean, that could either be a week, 2 weeks, or kind of how it is salary, on the monthly and stuff, so, I mean, but I think, when it comes to that, just, that could be, decided or organized out with the person getting paid shit, because I think that's fine if someone wants to get paid more on a weekly basis or on a bi-weekly basis or a monthly basis. I mean, if someone prefers being paid in that way, in comparison to a more the normal way that might be done, then I don't see anything wrong with that either.
It's a scheduled shift, and that he's expected to clean and stock shelves when he's not delivering, without getting paid a dime.
Wait, so this dude also does other work when he's at the place itself, and isn't even being paid for that? Isn't that just slavery?
You just watched a clip from CBS News featuring a pizza delivery driver who is one of hundreds of thousands of Americans who falls victim to a crime that just doesn't get as much attention as other crimes. I'm talking about wage theft. The Economic Policy Institute estimates that $50 billion is stolen.
Ooh, you never flew anymore, no fun. Because I'm reacting to it. Okay.
From ordinary Americans every single year, which, if true, is the equivalent of 5.5 million stolen cars, 12 million bank robberies, or 76 million snatched purses, according to CBS News. And if the EPI's
just being sassy bitch. Well, yeah, I figured.
Estimate is correct, then, as CBS News explains, that number dwarfs criminal offenses such as robbery, which accounted for just under $500 million in losses in 2019, according to FBI data. Burglary accounted for about $3 billion in losses that same year, and motor vehicle theft made up about $6 billion. Furthermore, demos...
Which is not, it's not the same numbers of the wage theft that are done to the average person. Which, especially when it comes to, neo-libs and shit-lib types and stuff, when it comes to, fucking on people that might be doing, fucking, pay theft at, a grocery store, or shoplifting and shit. The amount of, bitching that, those fuckers do and shit, just, genuinely irks me to the point where it's you fucks don't seriously it's you motherfuckers generally don't get it, do you? It's the mere fact that someone happens to shoplift a little bit to basically supplement the fact that their wages are stolen, pretty much, fundamentally, then I mean at that point it's just then essentially they're just really just kind of taking back what's more rightfully theirs when it comes to their wage, but just doing so by acquiring the asset of it. I mean, it's the same thing when they fucking like demonize you if you like happen to take a little money out of the drawer, which obviously shouldn't do that. But I mean, like theoretically, if your wages are being stolen and you supplement that by taking some out of the drawer, that's not technically stealing. But obviously you shouldn't do that because you're not going to be able to fucking prove that at all. So don't even bother. But it's like, but still, it's just like one of those things where it's like, they'll pretty much treat you as a problem, before they, even remotely look at themselves when it comes to, this type of issue when it comes to wage theft, because they'll steal left and right, and, it's pretty much normalized and considered illegal, even though it's not. But, when it comes to someone like, you or me doing even the tiniest little bare minimal of something like that, then we get some harsh-ass penalties for it.
Data from the Economic Policy Institute and Global Retail Theft Barometer, and found that the value of wages lost due to minimum wage violations alone was higher than the estimated value of merchandise lost due to shoplifting between 2013 and 2015. But
it seems like, in a way, when it comes to shoplifting, they basically just like supplement the losses by just stealing the wages of their workers, which causes those people who are more desperate because their wages are being stolen to do more shopping. So it's literally a reciprocal fucking cycle that these corporate straw boss fucks are making worse. They're the ones who are continuing to reciprocate the fucking cycle.
That wage theft involves more than just minimum wage violations. It also includes unpaid overtime and rest break, as well as off-the-clock violations, among other types of violations.
Yep.
And when you combine all types of...
I've been bitched about that before. I've been bitched about a thing called time theft, where it's like, hey, you take too long of a break and you're basically getting paid to not work, and it's like, wow, and I'm supposed to be like concerned. I mean, it's like, I guess in a sense that, it's like, oh, well, if you're late and this and that, blah, 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 it's just like, it's like, one, when it comes to like a break and shit, like, legally, I'm allowed a 15-minute break anyway, like under Oregon state law. So that already is like, like I'm not even gonna bother with that one. I mean, a 30-minute break, like, that is at least more understandable. But the thing is, like, I don't take like what they claim is like over hour plus fucking lunches. So I might do that one or two different times, shit, but not really. I usually will take like 40-45 minutes. Like, so I might go like a little over, but shit, like, I ain't going like, that much over. Nothing unreasonable. Most people at work generally do take like 40 to 45 something minute lunches, usually. More on the 40-minute mark. I mean, even then, it's kind of granted that there's at least a little wiggle room that you have anyway, just in case that you're in the bathroom or, you're on the phone or something like that. 5-minute is state law and 15-minute lunches? Fuck that. That is insane. That's what? 5 minutes is barely a smoke break, dude.
Wage theft, it actually surpassed all other forms of theft in 2018, as visualized by this popular
Other types of thefts: larceny, burglary, auto theft, robbery, way down there. Off-clock violations, rest break violations, overtime violations, the wage shit. Dude, all this makes up way more than people stealing.
County Workers United graphic using data, again, from the Economic Policy Institute. And CBS News reports that if wage theft crossed the threshold to be considered a felony, which is going to vary by state to state, by the way, then 27% of the total wage theft cases they examined would be considered a felony. And
here, I want to see the other... This one here. I want to see where Oregon is here. Michigan, Utah, blah, 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 blah. No Oregon? Oh, fuck. Hey, stop. There we go. And I guess Oregon wasn't on the other one. I looked at the other one. I don't think it was there. Yeah, here's the other one. Yeah, Ohio's there, but yeah. Damn it, show Oregon. Come on, you're not going to rep Oregon here, bro?
7% of the total wage theft cases they examined would be considered a felony. And even though the ratio between wage theft and other types of theft varies each year, this issue hasn't gone away, right? It still harms hundreds of thousands of American workers every single year. And the point in comparing wage theft to other types of theft is to show you how prominent it is, but yet this just doesn't get discussed in other conversations related to crime. But the question is, why is this crime so rampant? Well, as CBS News reports, there's a good...
because of that. Like, that's basically all you need. It's just a visual of a fat cat just like, I'm a rich, greedy, capitalist pig. Like, that's basically all you need.
They'll get away with it. They continue, that confidence is well-founded.
I could eat lunch in 15 minutes. Well, so can I, but god damn it, I certainly deserve to at least, have 15 minutes to let that all settle in my gut.
Wage theft is never reported in the first place, according to Shelley Rasica. For those unaware, this is the development director of Arise Chicago. This is an organization that tries to help Chicago workers recover stolen wages. She continues, sadly, it's people who have the least political power who are victims of wage theft, Rasica said. If you're poor, you might have to work 3 jobs and you don't have time to do anything else, basically besides work and try to take care of your family the best you can. If you don't speak the language, you might be afraid to go and talk to the government. So that's part of the problem. And the fact that in many instances wage theft goes unreported, it makes it so much more difficult to track than, say, retail theft, where corporations can give an exact number related to their annual shrink or loss in profits due to theft. But to make matters even worse, when it is reported, many victims of retail theft never see justice even when they win. CBS continues, CBS News
Ain't that the truth?
submitted public records requests to nearly every state labor department in the country and built a database of more than 650,000 total complaints. Of those cases, state agencies ruled in favor of claimants only about half the time. Even when workers won their claims, more than a third of those successful cases, totaling nearly $1 billion, showed no money was ever recovered. And this is because, depending on where someone lives, they might have more or fewer ways to fight for what they're owed. In big cities like New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago, victims of wage theft can report it to the city, the state, and even the federal government. But in some states...
Yeah, and at least luckily for me, it's kind of the same thing, too. Like, because I'm being in the Greater Port Metro area, though at least, when it comes to my county, there's at least, more of this pro-labor, kind of been just in, the state, but also in my area, too. Especially in the city. And, so luckily there's at least, abilities for me to, and for other people, at least in my area, to be able to at least kind of, like, fight a little bit. But most people just don't know that. Like, and it's kind of thing that there was mentioned. Like, most people don't really know or understand, like, how to truly fight for, their rights as a worker and shit. And at least, a guy that I, on YouTube that I listen to a lot, who's a lawyer, not often I ever, recommend that, but there's a guy, Attorney Ryan, who is specifically a labor lawyer, and talks about, like, different tips and tricks about how you, at least as an individual, in the workplace can at least, fight for your rights and be able to at least have extra, cards up the sleeve, and, a few extra aces in the hole, so to speak, to be able to at least have, a little bit more of an extra, a little extra ground to be able to, fight with, essentially. I mean, it's never, he does mention, that it's always never a total absolute guarantee, but it does at least help you when it comes to, your rights as a worker. And it does benefit, people to know those things. And should. I saw in my wage theft 6 months of slavery. I don't remember that was my stepmom. Which I count as wage theft, though. I mean, I would argue it is. It's just wage theft of a different form. It's not necessarily done by the company, but, done by your stepmom.
Which is Alabama and Florida, where there is no state-level process for filing a wage theft claim at all, workers have fewer options. And these variations in wage theft laws obviously complicates things. And even though wage theft is illegal, it's just not treated like a crime in the traditional sense. And what I mean by that is, if your employer, for example, catches you stealing from the cash register, they can call the police on you and you go to jail. But if your employer commits wage theft and makes you work off the clock, well, you don't have that same luxury. You can call the police on your employer and say that they're stealing from you. So there's this imbalance here. And wage theft is almost never included in more general discussions about crime, even though it quite literally by definition is also a crime. And it's not just another crime. It is one of, if not the most common crimes depending on the year, and almost all multinational corporations.
This guy literally is a fucking fat cat robber baron. I mean, look at this guy. Jesus Christ.
And these criminal corporations lobby against action whenever state and federal lawmakers try to address it. And More Perfect Union details this in a lengthy thread with numerous examples of this, explaining fast food corporations and trade groups have spent $4 million lobbying against a California bill that would hold corporations responsible when franchise owners break the law. Some of these companies, unsurprisingly, have a history of wage theft.
No shit.
Fast food corporations are often exempt from legal liability at franchises operating under their name. AB 1228's authors, this is referring to a California bill, say the lack of corporate responsibility is partly why the industry is rife with wage theft and other labor law violations. Yum Brands, which owns restaurants like Taco Bell, KFC, and Pizza Hut, has spent more than $33,000 to defeat AB 1228.
And I'm honestly assuming that's just reported numbers on that. I'm sure there's a lot of dark money that's funding this, to ensure that it, tries to be stopped. But luckily, it's going for the state senate now, so, I mean, it doesn't really look like it's stopping necessarily anytime soon.
Between lawsuits and fines...
And, for the problems Gavin Newsom has, I'm pretty sure that he's going to, let this go through.
Penalized at least $53 million for wage theft in the United States going back to 2000. Chick-fil-A and Jack in the Box have reportedly spent a collective $83,000 against the bill. Last year, a Chick-fil-A franchise owner in North Carolina was fined for paying some employees with meal vouchers instead of wages.
Yeah, here, have a meal voucher where, you can't really use that to pay rent or anything else and stuff, but yeah, you get a voucher though.
2022, an Oregon jury awarded former Jack in the Box employees more than $6 million for wage theft claims against
I've heard about this
company. The No on AB 122.
And hey, it's by the Willamette Weekly too. Nice.
The Aid Coalition has spent $3.5 million lobbying against the bill. Companies backing the coalition include McDonald's, Subway, and Domino's. McDonald's and its franchisees have paid more than $35 million to settle wage theft claims. One group of Subway stores in California was recently shut down by a federal court after the U.S. Department of Labor charged the owner with wage theft as well as child labor violations and intimidating workers. And
go figure.
Domino's Pizza has been charged with more than $12 million in wage theft since 2000. In 2021, a North Carolina franchise owner agreed to pay more than $3 million to more than 3,000 drivers to settle wage theft claims. So there are countless examples of these large multinational corporations repeatedly stealing from their own employees. And thankfully,
not Domino's. There's no ethical consumption under capitalism, and these corporate fat cats are always going to be doing shit like this. I mean, that's just kind of the truth of it.
A particular piece of legislation referenced in that thread has passed California State Assembly, and it now heads to the state Senate. And that legislation comes after we learned just how egregious wage theft is in California alone, where, again, they have more protections than states like Alabama and Florida. A study released in May of 2022 by the Service Employees International Union and Fight for 15 found that among the 410 fast food workers that they surveyed from 259 fast food restaurants across 86 Californian cities, 85% of those workers experienced at least one form of wage theft, 57% experienced multiple forms of wage theft, and nearly a third were retaliated against for asking to be paid properly. Now, remember,
which is just in California alone. And, just extrapolate that on a national level, and I guarantee you it's just going to be way fucking more. It's just insane. It's just because I've definitely experienced some of that shit myself, too, to a degree. And it's just, luckily that I generally do have a union to be able to, at least back me up with this as well. Which is another, form of protection that I do have, when it comes to fighting, for my own rights on this type of issue. Which is why they're so fucking important. Even if you, already have some decent benefits and conditions, stuff like that, you still can be, victim and liable to all sorts of other abuses that might be happening behind the scenes, like things like wage theft or, overtime violations and shit like that. So, it's not, exactly, uncommon. This is just, par for the course. If I'm disabled. Because you worked at Walmart for 6 months and you never saw a single fucking paycheck. That's how. Maybe not to the same level as this shit, but still. And even if you did saw those checks, you probably still were, experiencing some form of wage theft outside of that anyway. Because it's Walmart. And they're definitely notorious for it. Work today. Yep. That I do. Yeah. Seems like it'd be a fun little conversation to have with some coworkers today, maybe. Get me a little fired up about shit. But I'll get this last little boatload up at least for this afternoon and all that shit. And go out in a fucking rotisserie hot case of a fucking sun out there. Ugh. Should go to bed. Honestly, I would certainly, go to bed for like another hour or two just to let the day kind of play out a little longer so I can, not go outside when it's so fucking hot out. But alas. At least I'll be inside. There's fucking freezers, walk-in cooler. At least I got that shit. So it's not really the worst thing ever, so whatever. Yeah, sweaty. Ugh. No. Dump me in the Arctic. I prefer that. Fucker. Ah. Fucking fly. Anyway. I will kill this fucker when I get this shit done. So, anyway. Peace out. Of course. I'll be all that back around for now. Fucking Christ alive.